Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the program today, our representative from the 2nd Congressional District, Ray Hager, has the rundown.
Thanks, Sam. Today's guest is Congressman Mark Amity of Carson City, who is just about done with his first year in Washington, D.C.
And we'll have him for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers is brought to you by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park. The Retail Association of Nevada, strengthening the business environment for Nevada retail. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. And the Las Vegas Review-Journal and ReviewJournal.com.
As a Nevada business owner, you know how important your workers' comp, accidents, and premiums are to your bottom line. Pro Group provides the leading workers' comp programs in the state. So when we're on your team, your hard-earned dollars stay right here in Nevada. With us, your premiums are an investment in your business. We provide long-term security and stability for your company. Pro Group prides itself on being a Nevada business that does business in Nevada. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
The plan would end Medicare as we know it. Repeals Medicare.
And that's the same plan Dean Heller voted for twice. But it gets worse. On July 25th, Heller voted to give another $160,000 tax break to millionaires. Minutes later, he voted against a tax cut for the rest of us, the middle class. 2 votes against Medicare, 2 votes against the middle class. Dean Heller just keeps getting it wrong. Patriot Majority USA is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Press on, Southern Nevada. It's a new beginning. Information the way you need it. We are fighting for you every day to make your life better. The facts. So you can succeed. So you can plan. So you can dream. And always remember, press on.
You watched and worried. 2 wars, tax cuts for millionaires, debt piled up, and now we face a choice. Mitt Romney's plan? A new $250,000 tax cut for millionaires, increased military spending, adding trillions to the deficit, or President Obama's plan, a balanced approach, $4 trillion in deficit reduction. Millionaires pay a little more.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message because to cut the deficit, we need everyone to pay their fair share.
This segment is sponsored by the law firm of Lewis & Roca, providing local and regional clients in-depth legal resources in today's challenging business climate. This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we welcome back to the program, and it's a pleasure as always, Mark Amity. He is in Congressional District 2. Pleasure to have you back on the program, sir.
Good to be here, sir.
And right off the bat, in conversation before we started this taping, you've agreed that if we can put a debate together with your opponents in this congressional seat.
Absolutely.
Okay, we will work on that today.
Good.
Let's start out with Senator Reid. He started this line of attack back on this program back in April, pushing NV Energy on needing to do more with renewables, even though they've already exceeded their portfolio requirements by the state and been accepted by the Public Utility Commission. He's now pushing them to close down the coal-fired power plant, Reed Gardner, down in southern Nevada. He's also pushing them to buy additional energy from ENN, which on the face of it would be a huge deal for the construction industry in Nevada. Thousands of construction jobs to build not only a solar plant, but a plant to manufacture solar panels. It would create a couple of thousand jobs in addition to that. But shouldn't Senator Reid's pressure be on Southern California Edison rather than on NV Energy to be able to sell this power so it would not affect the Nevada tax base?
Well,
a lot of questions in there.
Well, and I get it. I guess, you know, you said, shouldn't it be on Southern Cal Edison? It's like, well, I don't know. Here's what I do know that's Nevada-centric, though, and that is we struggle to compete with the cost of a kilowatt hour when we talk about economic development, and economic development has something to do with jobs. And so when you talk about this, nobody's anti-green, but we've met those portfolio standards. First of all, that's a fairly important thing. Second of all, if you're talking about federal money to do R&D, to make solar more competitive, wind more competitive, geothermal more competitive, or whatever, but if those, when they get done, go to sell into the grid, and that increases rates, especially right now when things are the way they are in Nevada, and competition for sustainable living wage jobs is what it is in the Intermountain West, I think that's the wrong energy policy. And I'll tell you one other thing that I think is very Nevada-centric. If you go to the Department of Energy and you look in the last few years, they provided $1.5 billion, Sam, $1.5 billion in loan guarantees to those projects in Nevada. And while it's great news for all the construction folks, I get that. In terms of the long-term jobs, it's created 137 long-term jobs throughout the state. That's $22 million a job, Sam, in loan guarantees. If you gave Brian Sandoval $1.5 billion bank to say, go create some jobs in Nevada, I'm wondering if he couldn't have created more than 137 jobs.
I remember back when Jim Gibbons was first governor, there was talk of a need of $6 billion in road construction backlog. And I was told by advisors to the governor that if you were to give the Department of Transportation $6 billion, they could not get that work done. It was too much for them to be able to handle. But going back to Senator Reid, this is not his first rodeo with NV Energy. A couple of years back, NV Energy wanted to build a couple of coal-fired power plants over in White Pine County in your district, and he said it's not going to happen. The environmental impact statements, we're going to prevent that from happening. It seems like the payoff there down the road was that NV Energy and Ellis Power got to build that transmission line between the north and the south, but he stopped those plants from going forward. Do you think that he has the ability, as the majority leader of the United States Senate, to push this through and force NV Energy to be able to buy power from ENN?
You know, it's a great question, but it should be asked the folks at NV Energy. Are you going to rely upon the law and do what you think is right for your customer base when you march down to Carson City to see the Public Utilities Commission and you talk about what rates consist of? I mean, with all due respect, it's like those are the folks who are supposed to be making energy policy. And the frustrating thing about those power plants that you talk about is they were in all respects federally and in a state DEP sense licensable. And in fact, DEP? Division of Environmental Protection. Leo Drozdoff's old shop, Colleen Cripps, Dr. Colleen Cripps is now the director of it. And it's like, you know what, they had complied with all the air quality stuff they were supposed to. So the bewildering message to people in terms of ratepayers and people, NV Energy, is these folks have, and LS, these folks have complied with all of the objective regulations and permitting requirements, and you've got somebody coming in going, forget about the rules, I'm going to impose my will. And so, great question. Should the majority leader of the United States Senate be able to go to private corporations and say, forget about the rules, here's what I want? That's an interesting way for somebody who's a body of 100 and one of 2 bicameral houses to make policy.
Congressman, one of your biggest accomplishments in your first year in Congress was the U.S. House passage of the big Yarrington land transfer bill that many feel is necessary to bring back the copper mining industry in Lyon County. But some pundits say that as it goes to the U.S. Senate, it's absolutely dead on arrival because it was passed in a package with other bills that some think are very questionable, including one that would save salmon, well, from being eaten by sea lions.
Yeah.
So, what's the future of this?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're continuing to work on it. I have spoken with leadership already. Here's the important part: the bill sitting by itself is already been introduced by Senator Heller. So, if the will of the United States Senate, remember that guy we were talking about who's the head guy there? If the will of the United States Senate is to pass that bill without any of the other things, but Ray, remember some of the other things in there too. We're talking about
grazing.
Well, you got grazing reform, you got forest management that includes the Humboldt-Tiobe, the national forest in Nevada. You've got some border stuff that's Rob Bishop's of Utah. When you look at the half a dozen bills that were put into that package, they're pretty strong. Now, I get it. It's like we can't have the sea lions eating the fish because the fish are endangered. You can have some fun with that. But here's the point. It is no cost to the government. This is not a land giveaway. These folks the folks in Yerington are supposed to be paying for this. There are 800, you wanted to talk about, or we talked about full-time jobs, $1.5 billion for 137 jobs, no cost to the government, 800 jobs. I don't know for sure, but please fact check it. I'm aware of another piece of legislation during this Congress that produces 800 full-time, north of $70,000 a year jobs for the state of Nevada at no cost to the government. It's like, Nevada, hello, it's our unemployment issues, this should be a no-brainer. And yet, so it's like, listen, if you don't like the package, please pick up the Dean Heller bill. And Heller's written a letter to the chair of Natural Resources over there asking him to hear it. But the story doesn't end there, Ray. It's like we're working with leadership on the House side. My conscience is completely clear that the bill has been completely heard in subcommittee, committee, and argued on the floor. So nobody's sneaking around. We're looking for something that we can put it on at the end of the year in one of those must-pass bills to go, if you're not going to move it, it's important enough to Nevada, all of Western Nevada, that's like, if we can't rely upon the Senate to do something, I'm not saying we can or we can't, there's still plenty of time, but if it turns out that, clearly we're working now to go, to work with leadership to go, what can we put this on, because it is not anti-environment, it is not anti-anything, it's one of those few instances, and Ray, it's not my bill. I mean, it was there, it was working before I got elected.
But Congressman, okay, now it's in the Senate, and you know, and everyone knows that the man who controls the Senate is the Senate Majority Leader, Harry Reid. Now, when
from a mining background. Well, let's not forget the searchlight.
You ran against him briefly a few years ago.
6 months.
Yes, and then you mentioned his name in disparaging tones in last year when you ran against Kate Marshall. Do you wish you know, since he controls the future of your bills, do you wish you would have had a little bit less rhetoric against Harry Reid in your elections?
Listen, my criticisms of the Senate Majority Leader all centered around, I think the people of Nevada gave you the job, and that they should be at or near the top of your priority list. Not just on this bill, but other stuff. And from where I observe, and guess what, everybody observes from somewhere, there are times when I wonder if Nevada is really a priority.
Well, here you're insulting him again.
Well, I mean, I've been consistent.
And your bill is in his house.
There's an honest answer, you know. You asked me, it's like I think there needs to be more concern expressed towards the folks who gave you the job.
All right, let's take a break. More with Congressman Amadei when we come back.
To contact Nevada Newsmakers, call 775-857-2244 or go to NevadaNewsmakers.com.
Shelley Berkeley, under investigation for abusing her office. And the industry Berkeley did favors for is still showering her with cash. It's not surprising. Before she came to Congress, Berkeley urged her boss at a Vegas casino to buy off judges and politicians with favors and campaign cash. Wrong then, wrong now. A disturbing pattern of unethical behavior. Shelley Berkeley, everything that's wrong with Washington. Crossroads GPS is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The Tamarack Junction Steakhouse and Lounge is South Reno's new hotspot to meet friends and relax in our lounge. Sip handcrafted cocktails, chilled martinis, and world-class wines. Dine on sizzling signature fillets, ribeyes, and prime New York steaks. Fresh seafood and homemade desserts. North of the Summit Mall on South Virginia, the Tamarack Junction Steakhouse and Lounge.
When it comes to delivering energy, a lot happens behind the scenes. NV Energy generates thousands of megawatts of energy and moves it along miles and miles of transmission and distribution lines to Nevada homes and businesses. So when you flip a switch or push a button, there are no surprises.
The plan would end Medicare as we know it. Repeals Medicare.
And that's the same plan Dean Heller voted for twice. But it gets worse. On July 25th, Heller voted to give another $160,000 tax break to millionaires. Minutes later, he voted against a tax cut for the rest of us, the middle class. 2 votes against Medicare, 2 votes against the middle class. Dean Heller just keeps getting it wrong. Patriot Majority USA is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This segment is sponsored by the law firm of Lewis & Roca, providing local and regional clients in-depth legal resources in today's challenging business climate. And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Congressman Mark Amodei of the 2nd Congressional District. Going back to Harry Reid here for a moment, interesting in the presidential battle that he seems to be turning the attention away from the economy and jobs to Mitt Romney and whether we pay taxes or not. It's almost like the way it's being portrayed is that journalistic question that no journalist can ever ask, which is, when did you stop beating your wife? Yeah. It seems to be the same. What do you think of the tactics, and is it the difference between governing and elections? Anything goes in elections?
You know, it's a curious thing to do when at least in Nevada, you get a lot of people talking about gridlock and uber partisanship and all those other sorts of things. I will answer it this way, which I think is a fairly direct answer. Not that anybody cares what I say on the floor of the House, but if they did, you would not see me on the floor of the House during the 1 minute or the 5 minute segments talking about what I think about the president or if Mitt Romney's a great guy. You know, I think that's part of the reason why, you know, what are the approval ratings for Congress as an institution? In the high single digits.
Lawyers are now above them.
Yeah, it's like 8 points. And you're sitting here going, you wonder why people have a problem with what's going on back there when you are using those facilities and stuff like that to deliver partisan attacks in a presidential year.
But isn't it the same thing that occurred with the Reed-Angle race, which is where the campaign sought to define the candidate prior to the candidate having either the campaign up and running, or in this case, before Mitt Romney has significant money after the convention?
Well, you know what though, Sam? That's all well and good, but it's like you don't go on the floor of the United States Senate or the United States House and do a campaign ad. At least I don't think you should. I mean, you've asked my opinion. That's my opinion. I think it's in poor taste.
You know, again, you're going to have a hard time getting that Yarrington bill through the Senate, but I wanted to talk to you.
That's why I'm working the House anyway. Can't lose what you don't have.
This Yarrington bill, it's not the only land transfer bill that you're working on. In reading rural newspapers, I understand that you have a land transfer bill of BLM land in Carlin, and you're working one up in Fernley. So why is all this BLM land now coming to the state of Nevada? How are you getting this done?
Well, one of the things that we had talked about during the campaign is when you talk about economic development and jobs in Nevada, you have to talk to the landlord or the landowner. And in Nevada, that's the federal government. And we're just talking areas that are adjacent and surrounding our cities and towns. And so what we did initially was go out and say, if you need a land bill, in a responsible sense, not like, hey, give us whatever you got and we'll go with it, but if you can make a decent case, then we'll give you a land bill. So there's no gatekeeper attitude as far as I'm concerned on those sorts of things. Carlin is an area where, you know, with the mining stuff, to where it's like they're down to like 100-ish acres and they're surrounded by BLM. But here's the other part, Ray. It's all transparent. It's all you pay for it. It's not giveaway stuff. And so Virginia City, we did one up there in terms of just trying to clear the cloud on the title up there that's been going for years. Got an interesting text from somebody up there the other day saying, thank you for introducing the bill after, you know, and it was a projected number of years, but they went back to like Howard Cannon, Jim Santini, blah, 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 blah. I mean, not that that's probably accurate, but it's funny where you're going, listen, the only way you get this stuff started is you got to get something in so you can get it working. So we're happy to do it.
All right, let's take a break. More with Congressman Amodei when we come back.
To get a DVD copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The cost is $30, including shipping, handling, and tax.
With the change of seasons upon us, it's time to start thinking about re-roofing your commercial building before the weather changes. D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal has you covered with great products from Firestone. Remember, there's not just one product for every project. D&D and Firestone have the right product for your roof. The experts at D&D Roofing will give you a tailor-made roof for your building. For more information, call 685-5555 or go to the website ddroofing.com.
Work ethic, experience, knowledge of the law, and negotiation skills are all qualities that are necessary for effective legal representation. I'm Herb Santos Jr. If you have a legal question, call me for a free personal consultation. In my office, I help injured people. I work for you.
Step into another world. Your new private world. Desire. You're in it. A living world of luxury, power, speed. Motion will never be the same. This is not a new car, but it's your car. Why pay the difference if you can't tell the difference?
Next, Dr. Bill, a football star's daddy drama.
He's facing 3 women with whom he's had children.
He says they're being gold diggers.
The only time any of you have picked up the phone is because of money.
You know that's not true.
They say he's an absent dad.
Kylie has seen her father 12 times in her life. Shame on you, Terrell.
None of them are sharing a lot of love.
Dr. Bill, the #1 talk show in daytime.
It's Girls Night Out at the Carson Mall, Thursday, August 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. Live entertainment, special promotions in all stores, mini massages, hair and skin consultations, and more.
Listen to our sports partner, the new ESPN Radio 94.5 FM.
This segment is sponsored by the law firm of Lewis & Roca, providing local and regional clients in-depth legal resources in today's challenging business climate. This is Nevada NewsMakers.
And back on Nevada NewsMakers, we're holding him over for the whole show. Mark Hamaday is here, congressman with Nevada's 2nd Congressional District. I've been wondering for years, as the technology for mining has improved and improved, and you were formerly head of the Mining Association, we should point out, that Virginia City and the Comstock Lode produced so much silver 150 years ago that somebody didn't come back in and start mining in the area. Yeah. And now, over the last several years, Comstock mining is to the point now where I think within the month they're going to start pouring silver, I believe. What do you think about this project, and what do you think about the small band of protesters who are against this, saying that it's going to shut things down in terms of tourism?
Yeah. The project is interesting when you talk about the technology, because I don't know specifically, but generally my impression is this, is they've gone back in and done a bunch of exploration drilling, have been for the last few years, and that drilling has redefined what the resource was up there. And I'm not a geologist, but it's interesting to listen to that report and about where, and a lot of it's gold. Where those are, stuff that they missed, you know, with 100-year-old stuff, and then even farther down into Lyon County. It's fascinating to hear it. They've made public presentations, so it's not insider ball. So there is, I think, an absolutely relevant resource there that can be extracted profitably and provide some stuff for the area. And so I'll let the Comstock folks tell you about that, because they're much better spokespersons on their own behalf. Now, you talk about the folks that are opposed to it, and it's like, listen, that's the process. Matter of fact, I'm going to meet with some of them next week. But here's the deal when you ask me. It's like, thankfully, in Story County, those decisions, for the most part, there is a BLM presence, because in the pit that they're in right now, there are a couple of small triangles of land. Story County is the most privately owned county in the state, but there are a couple of triangles in the pit that are still federally owned. Over the years, just kind of never. So there will be some federal permitting that goes on with that, but ultimately, the major decisions are made by the Story County Planning Commission, the Story County Commission, which I think is a wonderful thing when your decisions are made within a few miles of where you live as opposed to several thousand miles away. So we'll see how they come out. I know they've got concerns about temporary use of the highway up there until the BLM stuff gets squared away that keeps them off the highway. But it's like, listen, in my view, all good problems to have, because there are probably solutions to all of those, and it provides not the answer to all of our problems, but it's another piece of the puzzle in terms of good, sustainable living wage jobs, that if you do the right thing in terms of transportation, the environment, all that other sort of stuff, good for them.
Okay, Congressman, do you still have a mining claim in Story County?
I have that still, and you know what, Ray? Nobody's interested in it. I just sent the $17 in for Judge Russell and myself, and you would think with all the notoriety that got, you would get a sniff and nothing. I'm tremendous.
honestly, will you profit if silver or gold mining gets started up again in Story County?
You know, as soon as I do, I will call you. But the answer as we sit here in August is nobody cares about our 40 acres at the bottom of American Flats. As a matter of fact, you may be interested to know, I could use some public service message support on this, but I did get a call from one of the peddlers who owned property farther down the ravine, who indicated to me that there was an abandoned car on my property and would I please do something to have it removed.
Is there silver in the ground there?
I don't think so. I would sure hope to be wrong, but I don't think so.
Okay, we've only got about a minute left here, but I just want to ask you, you know, Elko is booming to such a huge extent. Now we're going to see Wells booming as well, and yet the investment isn't there from people providing housing. And I'm surprised that the mining industry hasn't come up with money, and I talked to Tim Crowley about it on the program, and that was a new thought to him. But why are we not seeing investment in Northeast Nevada for the boom areas of our state? People can't move there to work because they have no place to live.
Well, actually, there are. The last time I was out at the Winnemucca Chamber of Commerce a couple months ago, one of the folks from the Means family, development outfit here, Reno High folks, right. I know you probably don't like them because you were a Minogue guy, Ray. but anyhow, they're out there doing a project in Winnemucca that's housing mixed use, you know, multiple family, single family, that sort of stuff. But one of the things, too, so I think you're seeing more of that.
20 seconds.
I think you're seeing more of that, but one of the things that's also relevant is they need inventory surrounding those communities for that footprint, much the same as they did in the Southern Nevada Public Management Lands Act, in terms of providing that part of that piece of the puzzle to allow those things to go forward.
So do you think that we are going to see more money coming in?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where we got to leave it. Thank you so much. We appreciate all your time.
Thank you, guys, and I'm sorry I didn't get the green tie word. I'll have it next time.
Hey, for all the people listening on the radio, they don't care.
Okay.
He's wearing a really nice suit. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this time out.
Almost half of the people in Nevada are denied Social Security disability benefits the first time they apply. But there's good news. Nearly 70% of people who appeal their claims get the benefits they deserve. At the Richard Harris Law Firm, we've helped thousands of Nevadans appeal and win. And there's no cost to you unless we win. If you've been denied your Social Security disability benefits, don't give up. Call the lawyers at the Richard Harris Law Firm, 222-2222.
Businesses need to experience victories every day. Today, you can be victorious by switching to Charter Business and saving an average of over $50 a month on business, internet, and phone. So call 877-250-5432 and make your entire office more productive with internet speeds up to 100 megs. That's 16 times faster than AT&T's fastest DSL. Plus, your company will enjoy a real phone line with unlimited long distance and over 30 advanced business features. Compare that to the phone company. And with Charter Business, you get a dedicated 24/7 support team based in the U.S. If saving over $50 a month doesn't make your decision easy, this will. Call now and get up to a $500 gift card. $500! If you don't switch, you're leaving money on the table. So call 877-250-5432 now, because time is running out. To the victor go the spoils. Call 877-250-5432 today.
I'm Dawn Sheeler, treasurer of Nevada Tire City and a client of City National Bank. Being a family-owned business, we wanted to work with a bank that also treated us like family. City National does provide us with a lot of solutions to help our small business. TreasuryNet makes it very easy for you to do all your banking online in the hours that they're not open. It's very important to know that our bank will be there to help us keep our money safe and secure, especially in today's economy. City National is the way up for me and my business.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com.
Thanks, Sam. On our next broadcast, we'll have Andrew Klinger, the Reno City Manager.
We'll see you on the next broadcast. Thanks for watching and listening.